Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Watford match preview. So Sunderland do return to the Stadium of Light Wednesday night, and they will be welcoming Watford, who are currently having a bit of a down season at the moment. You know, they've been so inconsistent. Last time out they got beat by Borough, who are down there as well. I think they were just a place below them. Watford currently in 20th, so that defeat against Borough dragged them down towards those relegation places. I think they went 2 goals down against Borough. Brought it back to 2-2, showing a good chunk of character there, and then they threw it away again, 3-2 to Borough, and they lost all 3 points and come away with nothing. And, in recent weeks they got beat 3-0 by Leeds. They've been drawing. I think opening game of the season they beat QPR 4-0 and they look really decent, but, in saying that QPR aren't exactly the best team in the world, are they? But yeah, it's one of them. It's like draw, loss, win, draw, loss, draw. It's one of them. They've only won, I think, a couple of games, 2 games out their opening 9, which isn't ideal for them. And expect a club like Watford to be there and thereabouts, whether it's just going to take time for certain players to gel or for a system to really set in. But 9 games in, to be sat in 20th place for a club like Watford, it isn't great at all. So it's probably an ideal time to play them. They're coming back up to the North East after just being at Borough. They weren't at Borough, were they? They were at home. I apologise. I've got that one mixed up. But they'll be coming up to the North East, of course. We're going to be in full confidence after rectifying our defeat against Cardiff. We got ourselves a 3-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday, and it was a training game. It was a training match essentially against. It felt like a friendly against Sheffield Wednesday at times. We didn't have to get into second gear at any point throughout the game. Once we got to 3-0, we just kind of walked it, and it wasn't a particularly difficult game. With no disrespect to Sheffield Wednesday, but those players seem to down tools. And I guess with everything going on in that club, you almost understand that, which is a really bad, negative thing to say, I guess. And I hope they do manage to turn it around. Sheffield Wednesday, they're a good club. But on to Watford. Can we pile on the misery? Of course, I hope so. This one's going to be a completely different test to the Sheffield Wednesday game, completely different challenge. I think last time they played a 3 at the back with a sort of 3-4-3 formation. I don't know whether they're still tinkering around with it, but I think at the stage of my life, we really press them, really get in the face, crowd gets behind us. I think we will be too much for them, because when you look at the highlights of the games that they have lost, it's just a bit of a press, really get at them down the wings, and I think that they're going to struggle. With Clark on that left-hand side. I think they're really, really going to struggle, particularly if we double up as well and get Huggins on the overlap. And I will mention Huggins, he has improved drastically. When Sirkin got himself injured, he's come in after a big injury himself, mind. He had, I think it was 45-minute period here and there where he was getting absolutely torn a new one. And the next half, I think it was against Blackburn. Blackburn, he was getting absolutely battered on his side. He was really, really poor in the first half. Second half, sharpened up and looked fantastic. And since then, he's gone from from strength to strength, and he's looking really, really solid. And he's adding to the attacking game as well. So it's good to see him in full flow and giving competition for Sirkin for when Sirkin does eventually return. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go into my preferred 11 for this game. And as you can see, it is completely unchanged from the game against Sheffield Wednesday. I just think a team that just come off the back of a 3-0 win don't really need to change it. The one player, and I think a few people took it a bit wrong, in the review to that game, it sounded like a dug out Roberts a little bit. And the only thing with that was, it's not like I think he played particularly poorly. I feel like in a game that was a very friendly-esque type game, because we did walk it, like I say, to pick any kind of negatives or improvements was very difficult. And the only thing I could think of was Roberts. He was getting the ball well or cutting inside well, but then his decision-making was really, really poor, in my opinion. Like what we'd seen, you probably see a clip go around social media, when a ballers get pinged from left to right, his first touch is world-class. It's absolutely class, his first touch. Cuts inside beautifully, but then the clip cuts there because he does lose it. And I think in these games, I think he was just desperate to get himself a goal, which I do understand. He's been out the side, in and out a lot with Barr, who's been fantastic on that right-hand side. Barr could easily start for me, but I just thought with his come off the back of a 3-0 win, keep him there. He does have the quality, and an informed Patrick Roberts is arguably one of the best, if not the best, right winger in the league. He is absolutely phenomenal with his own form, but he just come across a bit too desperate in that game against Sheffield Wednesday, if that makes sense. But this is the team I'm going with anyway. Pato, Huggins, 09, Bollard, Hume. As we mentioned before, when we're on the ball and when we get him forward, Hume always tucks into the middle. So it'll be Dan Neil and Hume in there, giving Bellingham, Job, should I say, the licence to move forward and push forward. And then you've got Clark, Pritchard, Bellingham and Roberts all pressing against that back line, including Burstow, to really put the pressure on Watford, and I don't think they're going to be able to handle that. If we do get out of the blocks really quickly, really get in their faces I think they're going to struggle, particularly if we get ourselves an early goal at the Stadium Light. It's going to go downhill for them. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to throw the kitchen sink at them from the off. Otherwise, you're going to give them that confidence to break forward. And at times, our defence can be a little bit shaky, particularly if we let their height and their physicality bully us at the back from set pieces, where that is where we do lack. And I think that's my biggest concern. Free kicks, set pieces, corners. That is my biggest concern. Up top, of course, I have gone for Burstow, as I say. Now, again, I only really stick Burstow there because it is coming off the back of 3-0 win. Burstow, in the review, again, for the Sheff Wednesday game, I accidentally didn't give him the credit. The commentator did the same thing as well. I gave Bellingham credit of the assist for the Clark goal. It was Burstow. It was a brilliant right-to-left diag ball. It wasn't Bellingham, it was Burstow, and for the penalty, of course, he span his man really well. It was a really lovely spin, and he goes down for the for the penalty. But for Burstow, yeah, he did. That makes it seem, should I say, that it was a real handful. And I think at the minute, because we are so poor at trying to include a striker, and we'd have to say that, and it is the truth, because Burstow's probably getting about 7 or 8 touches throughout the entire 90 minutes. And thankfully for us, one of them it led to a penalty, and one of them was a great assist. But we're clutching at straws to give him praise out. If he's pressing a little bit, everyone's saying, his pressing's amazing. I think because we're really not including him, we're clutching at straws to give any kind of praise, which of course I want to give him praise. But at times, if you're only getting 10, 11 touches or whatever it is it really worth having him on the pitch? Is it worth getting, I've had mentioned Hamia in the past, and I've seen comments, people saying, no, he's not ready, even in the reserves, in the youth teams, he's looking a bit... he's not looking too sharp and what have you. It's just when we have seen him, even in pre-season, Hamia, he just looked infinitely more dangerous. Because sometimes what we do, we are largely based on the wings, our attacking play, with Clark on one side, Roberts or Bar, whoever it is on the other, and then they always cut inside and shoot. But if we don't have that option there and they get doubled up on or crowded out, we do try and sometimes just put the ball in the box. And granted, our deliveries have been horrific recently. But when someone like Hamia is in there, he is a beast. He's 6'4" and he wins and he makes infinitely more chances for himself than Burstow has. That's the only reason I want to throw him in there. But like I say, I'm not writing the lad off. He just hasn't necessarily impressed me too much thus far. Granted, it's only been a handful of games, and of course I'm going to give him time. But I just think, or just thought, should I say, with someone who's going to make chances for themselves, it would give us more of a chance to score more goals. But we'll see. Hopefully we do manage to work a system where we can involve Burstow a bit more. Because you can see in the little touches here and there, the lad's got something about him, and he does have a bit of experience, for a young lad anyway. So hopefully we can include him in the game a bit more, because at times it does feel like we've got 10 men, and I often forget he's on the pitch. So either way, that is the 11 I would go with. Who would you go with, and what do you think about this starting 11? But for my score predictions, last time out I got it bang on, and I was so close to the goal scorers as well. I predicted a 3-0 win against Sheff Wednesday. I predicted a clock double, which happened, but I also said Dan Neil was going to score, not Ballard, which is a little bit annoying because it was almost bang on, as I say. So this time out, I am going to go for a 3-1 Sunderland win. I do think we're going to score first. I do think they're going to get an equaliser, but I do think in the second half, so the first 2 goals will be in the first half, I think second half we're going to get ourselves a couple and see ourselves over the line. Because we can see ourselves getting a goal maybe midway through the first half after maybe a lot of pressure, and I think we might sit on it a little bit, and then maybe a set piece for Watford will do it for them to make it 1-1, give themselves a little bit of confidence, but I think we'll see it through to a 3-1 Sunderland win. I'm not going to go for goal scorers because that was heartbreaking last week, but either way, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Sunderland win. I do expect Watford to eventually push themselves up the table, but it hasn't been a great start for them, so I don't wish them any negatives apart from Wednesday night. Hopefully they do manage to sort themselves out, because that club shouldn't be that far down the league this early in the season. But either way, there we go. What do you guys think the score is going to be? Let me know in the comments down below on what is your preferred starting 11. If you have enjoyed, please hit the like button for me. It really is appreciated. And subscribe. At the minute, I think there's 45% regular viewers that are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're one of them, please just hit the subscribe button. It takes literally 0.5 seconds and it helps out so much. But there we go, guys. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Take care. Stay jammy.